Okay, East Bay Photo Collective, our mission is to provide facilities, education, inspiration, and community to East Bay photographers, including those who are underserved or lack access to a creative community. And this event, like all EBPCO events, is free and open to everybody. It's our mission to provide creative opportunities in any way that we can. So this is one way, our artist series. And we are super lucky to have Xan Walker with us today. Thank you for coming, Xan. It's great to see you. And Xan has participated in several EBPCO events. She's a regular at the show and tell series. So we always love hearing her voice. And it's great to have this evening to really talk about Xan's work. And I think also Xan's going to talk a little bit about her life and how her life has influenced her work. So I'm going to be very brief on the bio details. Xan is originally from Seattle, right, Xan?
Yep.
And so she got her MFAs from University of Washington, and then
I got BFAs. I got printmaking and painting from University of Washington, and I think the printmaking really helped with design quite a bit. I was actually went into the graphic design department to start, and I kept they'd give me they give you a task, like do this, and I'd do this, and so they're like, maybe you belong in the art department, not in the design department, because I would just take it so left field. So but I just bring that up because a lot of people comment that my the graphics of my pictures, they can really tell that I have some kind of training there. And then I took painting because I wanted better color theory, and it really helps. So I really love color, especially coming from Seattle where everything's gray. A lot of the artists paint in like tones of brown and gray and green, and so I wanted more color theory. And then I came to San Francisco for my MFA at San Francisco Art Institute, and I as part of that I worked with Procida Eyes mural project. I worked on the women's building. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I knew that really well.
Really cool. And some other smaller projects and murals. When I retire, maybe I'll start doing some more murals, but it's like a second love.
And are you still printing as well? Is that still part of your practice?
No, the way that all happened, I was doing a lot of printmaking, and I focused on woodblock hand printing because I knew at some point I'd be out of college and I wouldn't have these giant presses to work with and things like that. So I wanted something I could do in my home. So the whole time I was focusing on hand printing wood blocks and painting. But when I had my son, I was a single mom. Dad left while I was pregnant. That's a whole other story. And it's really hard to do art that, like, because I would do color blocks of wood blocks. So it would often take, days to do wood blocks, several days, or, paintings can take days or weeks. And when you have a little child running around the house, it kind of makes it impossible to do that. And I've always had my studios in my house. I like that. I don't like going out to a studio. And that's how I got into photography, because I could do that with a child. And I'd done photography before. When I was in high school, I was doing photography, dark room photography. I was getting really into black and white, as you do when you're in a dark room. And that's where a lot of my photography training came from. And when I started back again, I actually just started with my phone, and I was submitting to shows and getting in shows. And I got early on, I got one best of show from a picture I took off my phone. And then my friend gave me a old used camera that his job was going to get rid of. And I was like, sure. So then I had a real camera and I could do larger stuff. And now I've got my Canon. I love my Canon. This is my baby. It's small because I carry it around in my purse. So I don't want like a giant, you know, I have a bigger camera with a, so you get the angle right, telephoto lens about that big, but you can't just carry that to the store with you when you go shopping or, you know, or running errands and things. So I just carry my little Rebel in my purse, and then I can shoot things as I see them.
I feel like looking at your book, Abandoned East Bay, now that you've mentioned it, that if anyone happens to have a book called Abandoned East Bay, now that you mention it, I feel like I see that graphical background, and like you're saying, both about your design sensibility and color. It seems like both of those are way up front in that book.
Or the really super gray stuff, which is my Seattle creeping in. So it's like one or the other. Yeah. And I think the other big influence, you know, I was in the whole punk rock scene in the 80s, back before it was cool. And I was like in the street punk scene. So we were like living on the street and in abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And that just kind of that like, you know, gritty urban settings, which I guess if you're just there in it can be kind of beautiful. And so I'm really drawn to that. And it's kind of like really nostalgic to me when I go into these abandoned buildings and take photographs. And if anybody's living there, I try to be really respectful of that because I've been there. But it was different. When you're in the punk scene, we all kind of looked out for each other. So it wasn't like, I mean, sometimes you're by yourself, but usually you're a part of a group. It's much more tribal in that way.
So you have a very different, in photographing those buildings, you have a different emotion when you are there. You were just saying that in some ways it's a familiar experience where
Oh yeah.
I feel like sometimes when I'm, you know, photographing a building, to me it's, you know, it's just an object. Oh, look at that interesting building. I don't have a personal connection to it. Or I don't have personal memories associated with it. So for me, it's like a foreign object, but you find some connection and some emotion you can bring to it.
Yeah, that feels very intimate to me, really. And you know, flashbacks happen and things like that. Um, but yeah, and also there's just like the weird thrill of going into an abandoned building and wondering what you're going to find. And um, you know, it's a little dangerous, and I'm aware of that, and that's part of it. So yeah.
Did you have some material you want to show from Abandoned East Bay?
Yeah, let me see if this works. So I excuse me, I'm a little sick. This is from something I did for the Oakland Public Library. So this is, so I broke the book into cities. So it's Oakland, Berkeley, Alameda, Emeryville, and Richmond. So this is just the Oakland side of it. And can you see this?
Yes. Yeah, looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to run through some of these. So this is that probably that more graphic side of it with the, sometimes I just like kind of these more abstract type things. And I was trying not to like actually steal somebody's art. So I was trying to like create my own composition out of somebody else's art when I was doing this, instead of just, I know some people will just take a straight shot of somebody's art and then sell it, which I don't particularly like. And I tried to research and find out who the artists were. I like the pigeons in this one. I thought that was funny. We used to call them flying rats. Yeah. But I kind of am fond of them in a weird way. But I tried to research like who the artists were. I'm not really up on the scene. This is more of a Seattle gray. And I've had some people contact me and say, oh, that's so-and-so. And so, you know, I can't change it in my book, but on the individual pieces, I've updated it and, you know, made sure I got the right people in there. So yeah, I'm really open to that. So a lot of it, I'm just liking like the texture and the pattern. I actually know who that little face is on the bottom. I mean, I don't know who they are, but I know, I don't know them myself, but I'm aware of who they are. This is part of a series I'm doing. I'm going to add it to a series where I'm like, I've got a bunch where I'm like looking down through these corridors like this. I'm kind of doing this kind of 3-part series. I'll show you the first, let's see, second part of it. No, the first part of it in another slide, but it's kind of, you know, you know, you can probably assume as a punk rocker in the 80s living on the street, I had a serious drug problem. Otherwise, you wouldn't do that. So it's kind of like this series of, you know, like looking through from where you are to the other side, then kind of looking down the path. And then once you get to the other side, which is recovery for me, I've been in recovery for a long time, 30 something years. But kind of then that place. It's easier to explain in pictures, but this is part of that, you know, seeing the journey ahead of you kind of thing. Let's see, move it up. So this one, this is a close-up of this one. Hard to see. This one's like a fan favorite. I've actually sold some of this one, which it's funny because I never know which one's gonna sell, but
I like how you've always got some of the structure. We can see some of the room and the details of the building. Like you've got some, you know, here are the bricks, or previously there was like gravel. We can always see the context.
that's part of what I really like is the urban decay part of it. So not just the graffiti, but the urban decay plus the graffiti is what I'm really drawn to. And I do tend to go a little abstract sometimes, which I like. I don't know if other people like. But yeah, I'm really just, you know, when I'm in these buildings, I'm just kind of like wandering around. I'm on the roof here, trying to get this guy on the right. I love this guy. I think he's so good. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I see him all over the place. So I don't know how many of these you want to see, but I got this one because the Oscar grant in there. I had to put it in. Some more abstract one.
Xan, let me interrupt you for just a sec. Since we've got a pretty small group today, I want to invite folks to go ahead and speak up if you have questions or comments for Xan as we go forward, or go ahead and put them in the chat and I can read them out. But we can, since we've got a pretty small group, so we can open it up to a little bit of conversation. But
this is part of that looking through that I was talking about. So you're like here and you're looking through into like a potential future, potential journey that you're going on. I just was really drawn to these. I've actually got enough of these now that I feel like I need to do like subcategories. But that's what that is. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has any questions. I was just going to keep clicking through, but we can talk at the same time.
It's, this little series of windows is terrific. I guess, yeah, looking through is a real thing that's going on.
I like windows a lot too. Windows and doors, I like a lot.
Do you ever find people giving you grief for taking the photos?
There was a couple people that were upset that I was doing like this one. It's really like the one on the cover where it's almost like a straight shot, right? Let me see if I can find a better one. This one where it's kind of almost like a straight shot.
Yeah.
And I do try to avoid that because it's like I'm just taking somebody else's art. But I was really trying to show like the whole ambiance of the place. But that's why I try not to do that, to not just take a straight photo. Straight photo. Is that what you meant by
I
grief?
was wondering if anybody was confrontational or kind of complaining or not happy that you were there. Or is that, do
Oh,
you
in
ever
the
run into?
buildings? No, there's usually people are just like wondering if I'm going to bother them. Like
Mhm.
I've really only ran into like a few people, but they're always kind of like, is she a cop or what's
Right.
going on? And I just hold up my camera and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. But I've had like a couple graffiti artists I've run into, and they're like really friendly as long as they know I'm not going to bother them. And of course, they don't want to be photographed. But I do have video of some people like doing their work as long as I don't show their face. So that's kind of cool. So if there's no questions, I see there's a chat, but is that
Yeah.
my chat or?
So Bob says he believes it's a really important point about shooting portions of graffiti in context and environment, and not just shooting the art. And he says, where did that perspective and insight come from?
Where did it come from? I don't know. I think I just really respect the medium as an art form. I tried to be a graffiti. Well, I was a vandal with graffiti, but it's like really hard. It's, and I'm an artist and it's like its own genre. It's not easy. And, a lot of the bad graffiti you see is people like trying to learn how to do it. It's not, that's not their endpoint. It's like their first week at art school, and you're kind of seeing it, right? I think it's like super brave. Actually caught somebody graffitiing my box truck, which I love. And I was trying not to scare her as it was like nighttime and it was dark, and I wanted to say hi and I didn't want to scare her. And so by accident, I did scare her because I kind of snuck up on her because I was trying not to scare her. But she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm embarrassed that you saw that it was me." And she's actually like really good. Like I think hers is one of the best things on my track. I've got a few graffiti artists have done my track. But I think it's very brave to go out there and just put your art out for everybody to see when you know that you're not that good yet. I just remember myself being an artist, and my first shows, I was so petrified. I actually had an open studio and I hid. So my friend had to do so it's like it's very brave thing. And I don't think it's appropriate to steal somebody's art. It's kind of odd because we do it with things like Andy Warhol or the Mona Lisa, where you just put her on a shirt, right, and then people sell it. It's kind of this odd thing. Like, when does it become a commodity? But I mean, I'd love to pair up with a graffiti artist and just do straight shots of their art, but I do it as a collaboration. I wouldn't just do it. So I think it's just being an artist, and you don't want people to steal your art. And I do see it as an art form. Some are better than others, but it's still an art form.
And as an artist, you don't want people to steal your art, but also it's very exciting when you inspire other people.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't take a drink. Should I show you my looking through series, or do you
Yes.
want more questions? Okay.
Yes, please.
So here it is. This is in no particular order. I just kind of threw this together last night. Okay, that worked. This is one that I think a lot of people really like. This is a photo collage. They're not all. It's a mixture. Some are photo collages and some aren't. This is, and I think it really shows the idea of like being in this place, you know, this kind of a gritty, grungy place, and seeing this potential on the other side that you can't quite get to yet.
It also makes me think of natural rock formations like you see, in Arches National Park or somewhere like that, where you are conscious of, both the texture, the surface, and then what's beyond. You'll see the sky beyond it. It really reminds me of this natural features.
Yeah, you know what's funny is this is actually a drain hole on a roof.
So it's not Arches National Park?
I was actually on this amazing roof, and there was all this beautiful graffiti on the roof, and I kept staring at this drain hole with all this like amazing like there's tar and paint and then tar paper, and you can see it's like just layers and layers and layers of stuff. And I said, I don't know why, I got to photograph this, and then I figured out a way to use it. So I'm a little partial to this.
Xan, is there a full screen mode where we could see the
Probably.
or if you went into
Slide only. Is that better?
That's definitely better. Yeah.
I'm not sure how to.
How about if you did play, would that start clicking through the images, or
Play slideshow?
yeah. Let's see if that's gonna. Now we have a really nice full screen.
Okay. It's just gonna go without me doing anything?
Hopefully not. Hopefully you can tab through.
This is not a collage. This is, I'm standing in a very, very dark building.
Wow.
We're using headlamps, and that's why it's so black around it. But then it was a very bright sunny day, so I'm not sure how to.
I think if you hit an arrow key, it should maybe advance.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Same thing, dark building. I just liked this idea of when looking at windows through a window. But it's kind of like an L shape in a building. So I'm almost at the corner of the L, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the break in the building, the play of color there. That was super, super cool. Oops. Wait, arrow didn't work. What did I do last time?
Maybe try.
This is space.
Oh, space.
There's another one looking through a window. The window's been spray painted white. And so then I'm looking through the white window to a wall, red wall behind. I'm not sure if I'm going to include this in my looking through series because it's hard to tell that that's what's going on. So I might leave that one out.
So this is not a composite.
No.
Wow.
I think this one is really, really successful actually, because it looks like it would be a composite, but it's not. And and if you look at it, you can kind of tell that it's not. I don't know. I think it really like draws in the viewer.
Yeah, I really like it. It feels a lot flatter than it really is.
One of the things I really like about it is that you have little hints of what's going on so that it's not a composite. And so it's like I can see your feet in I think it's your feet in the reflection in the bottom, that jagged piece of clear glass that's sticking out that has the white squiggles. So every time I look at it, I see something different. I think it's quite compelling.
I don't think you can see my feet because this is actually almost eye level.
Okay, then there's something down there that looks like a person, like the bottom of legs and shoes.
Okay.
I don't know. It's so what that means to me is that there's a lot to look at in here. There's all these little details, and when you do start to look at it, I can see that it's got layers. The broken glass in the front. There's broken glass behind. Like it just keeps going, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, now the spacebar is muting. It's like it keeps changing. Okay, now it's a different thing. Now it's my touchpad. Yeah, this is kind of interesting too, because I'm looking through broken window down a staircase. So I kind of like how the planes changed. It's like it keeps wanting to change. Okay, now I'm back to my arrow key. This is actually on the Lost Coast. I don't know if you guys ever been to the Lost Coast, but it's pretty cool. This was at Alcatraz, and I got lucky with the little boat coming through.
Wow,
I
yeah.
was at an art show in Los Angeles, and it was huge, and they were giving away free vodka. And this lady, she must have been drunk because she kept coming in going, "Oh my God, the little boat, the little boat!" And then she'd like almost be crying, and then she'd leave. About a half hour later, she'd be like, "Oh, the little boat." So I was like, buy it, you
I
know?
was just going to say to ask her, why don't you buy yourself a print? You can see
Yeah.
it.
Okay, this is another one of those that's very much not flat, but looks flat, and I kind of like it, but I'm actually looking through a window at another building across the way, and it's the roof and then upper level of another building. I'm really partial to this one.
Yeah, the way the sense of space is just collapsed, you really flattened it, but at the same time, we kind of know that it's space. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
a conflict.
okay. It's like rotating through my keys. This is the Albany bulb, my favorite place in the world. Although I don't like the way they're changing it. I kind of like the way it was before, but what's that one? There's another one. That one's sold. Albany bulb inside the castle or whatever it's called. You guys have been there.
Mm-hmm.
This is I think it's self-explanatory. Another one of those flat, not flat ones. You already saw this one. Let's see. I think you saw this one too. This one I was conscious of like, I don't want to steal her. So I was actually I actually have the focus on the buildings outside. So I don't know.
I like this one a lot.
This is a diptych I just did, my first diptych in a long time. So you can buy them individually or together. I think they go well together. Just, two windows.
Xan, Anita asks if the Looking Through series is going to be a book.
That was a good question. I hadn't thought about that. The Abandoned East Bay book actually got approached by the publisher to do that. So the risk was super low.
Mm.
Like zero financial risk on my end, except I bought a ton of them because I figured it was going to go out of print at some point because I wasn't imagining like huge amount of sales. So I bought a lot for myself so I can have them for a long time. So the only risk was, buying my own book at like, fraction of the cost. But, I'd have to think about it because I don't know. I mean, I guess there's on Amazon, you can do like print to, what's it called?
Print on demand.
Yeah, print on demand. That's probably the way that I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really just trying to get a cohesive series together and show it at some point. But you can even see within the Looking Through series, there's like different sub genres going on. So I'm really just kind of still playing it at this point. I really love the color on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. See, oops. I didn't mean to do that. Did it just get smaller?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this because it's the last one.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I forgot to mention those last few were my latest ones. So that's why it's not cooperating.
Can we go back through those last few? No, we just know that they're your latest. And how latest is latest?
Like a week ago.
Oh, okay. There we go. Hot off the presses.
Let me get out of it and see how to go backwards. Slide. View.
The navigator, yeah.
Okay, so the last one started right here. I just did these last three. What does this do? Oh, what does that look like?
It just looks like what we were seeing before. We're seeing the navigator on the side and the smaller image.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait. Sharing is paused. Please bring your window to the front.
We're still seeing your screen just fine.
I think you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Here's the thing. View. Somehow, okay, here, resume share. No, nothing's working anymore. Play. You can't see me changing slides, huh?
No, we're just, yeah, maybe we can unshare and reshare. Let me just see if anything's paused on my end. Doesn't look like it. Oh, now we can see. Now you can see your cursor and that you're moving slides. And now we see the slideshow mode. So yeah, that's great.
All right, I understand. Sorry. Yeah. So
This would look good printed big.
yeah, I mean, a lot of my stuff I print pretty big, and then I realized that a lot of people can't afford bigger stuff, and so it's kind of like I'm torn. I think it looks good big, but then people like to buy small because I guess the way the economy is. But yeah, so I guess, you know, I count this as one, but this is two that I did. And I love triptychs and diptychs. So I was super excited when I realized, oh, I have a diptych here. This is awesome. So yeah, so I've got that one. And
Xan, how did the pandemic affect your process?
yeah, I got muted.
There you go.
The oh my God. The pandemic actually kind of helped because I was already online. I hope you can't see the participants window. Okay. I was already online, and so it was really easy for me to just keep on rolling. And I did a lot of virtual shows, and I've done like a bunch of, I think there's more people doing talks, and yeah, so it didn't change much for me.
When you say you're already online, so you already had your website up,
Yeah.
the one that's out there now with your work on it.
Yeah, and I go through this company called Art Storefronts, and they kind of just tell you what to do, which I like because I don't have to figure it out myself. But so they were kind of guiding us through the pandemic, and you know, I don't sell a lot because I think I have a very niche art. Like not a lot of people are gonna like my style, but I think I sold as well as I did, maybe better than the year previous. So Yeah, I did pretty good. I mean, I wasn't, I think in the shows, when you do live shows, I I usually print out my stuff in cards, and people like the cards. I sell like hundreds of dollars worth of cards, but so minus that, I think I did pretty good. And then because I was doing such a big presence online, it led to other things. So I I've already had 2 live shows, and I got picked up by an art gallery, and um, yeah, it's actually been pretty good.
And did you say that you did some online openings as part of your storefront, or how did that work? And
No, yeah, just through different organizations I'm a part of.
Mhm.
I think I've been doing shows pretty regularly, online shows. I can't remember who they were all through. I did one live show. Greyloft Gallery had a pop up at Flax, and it was right when you could start going out. So it was
Mhm.
like super ex, 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 exciting. We're like, real people, and so that was kind of fun. But prior to that, I can't remember even who I was doing shows with. I did maybe through Artspan, maybe through. I'm a part of the Art of the African diaspora too, so I did that. Oh, the Embryville Celebration of the Arts, and then I've got art up now in Dorks Caf Cafe. If you know about them, they're really good place if you have any tech needs. But they also serve like coffee, and it's a little coffee shop, and you can get your computer repair done. So I've got a show there now. Um, and then I've got art in AC Gallery too. So they picked me up, and I think I did a show through Artspan. And yeah, I've been kind of busy.
Yeah, that is a real impressive pandemic track record.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So yeah, that's
Oops, you've gone back on mute, Xan. Sorry, you are. There you go.
sorry, I was trying to show this one's the one we didn't look at. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say now. But yeah.
We were just talking about how active you were
Oh,
over the
I,
pandemic.
I was really just, I think a lot of photographers, I got tons of stuff on my camera that I take photos and then I don't look at it. So I was trying to go through my camera and just see what I had. And because I know I've got stuff that's just ready to show, that's just sitting on my camera. Because I usually, like, as I'm taking the picture, I'm framing it out then. Let me stop sharing. When I'm taking a photo, I'm actually framing it out then. I don't, some people take it wider and then crop it down. Just the way I think, I try to like just take the shot. Um, so I know I have stuff that's it's just sitting there and it's ready to be put out. It's just a matter of me going through it. So that's what I was just trying to do. So I got through 4. I'm actually like pretty sick. I've got pneumonia, so I've been sick the last couple months. So I for about a month I really couldn't do anything, and now I'm starting to come out of it. And I'm not working because I have pneumonia. So I was trying to go through my artwork when usually I'm like so active I don't sit down long enough to go through my camera. So I'm like, okay, well I'm just sitting here, so I should probably do that. So yeah. And I had a whole COVID thing. Like when COVID hit, I was taking COVID related pictures, and I know I've got, um, I have so I've got 2 sites. One website is where I like sell art, and the other site is more of like a portfolio site. And I've got a pandemic portfolio on my portfolio site, and I've already got a number of pictures, but there's this like really great one that I was really excited about, and it's just sitting on my camera. I just have to like take it off and put it, you know, on the site. So stuff like that is my weak point, actually getting the stuff out. I think taking the photos is the fun part, and then you have to get it out.
You know, I've talked to lots of folks who have taken that approach to that pandemic period, where they've gone through and scanned, you know, some of their historical work, or they've gone through their digital files and taken the opportunity where, okay, they have, you know, less interruption in their lives, and they can, you know, do a little more to concentrate and take up some of these tasks that take up a lot of time and require more concentration. And it's just fantastic.
Well, I work full time too, so it's, and I my job, I can work from home, so I've been pretty busy just working, making money this whole time too. So I was actually kind of jealous. I know that, you know, people are struggling with money, but on the other hand, you know, if you're a creative and you see all these people who now have time to really focus on their art, and I see people do like amazing stuff, and I was like, well, I got to go to work, so I can't do that. But yeah, I'm getting a little taste of it. Oh, and I just got a commission, so I'm really excited about that. My first commission I've ever done for Fred Finch. I don't know if people know who that is, but they want an for their advertising, they want an image. They're focusing on the bringing more diversity to the mental health field. But they don't want any people in the shot. So I was like, okay. So I have an idea. I'm going to pitch it to them on Friday, where it's going to be a staircase. I've got a couple great staircases, and then have like all the same flowers at the bottom, and then slowly introduce different flowers as it goes up, and then have like a whole like variety of flowers at the top. So I'll pitch it to them and see what they think. And then a friend of mine invited me to the Oddity Show. So if you're, you know, free, I think it's 2 weekends from now in Alameda. I'm gonna, some of my stranger art and like darker art, I'm gonna have at that show. So that'll be fun.
Wow. Yeah. Impressively busy, Xan. It's so much going on, and it's really inspiring.
Thanks. Yeah.
And then to hear that you're actually sick right now as you're talking to us.
Yeah. I'm a little, I think it was from all those years living on the street, you know, you just, it was just go, 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 go. You could not stop. And so that's one of my struggles is, you know, slowing down and doing things. I guess I don't know if it's a problem, but. Yeah.
Well, let me ask to see if anyone has other questions or follow-ups. I could just open the floor. And
I think the work is super cool. I don't have any specific questions beyond the ones I've asked, but I'm really enjoying looking at your work.
Thank you. I was just looking at the chat. I wish I'd had it open the whole time, because I don't, people are saying, oh, love it. Use that. I'm like, use what? I don't know.
That was from Ernie. Ernie, which image was that?
Watch the recording.
The what?
It was the one that you were sitting on the fence to use it as a composite. I can't remember the exact image, but you were struggling, thinking about, I don't know if I would use this, and I just said,
oh, okay, yeah. The one that looks flat, but it's not.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones with the
Right.
red. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
we all liked that one.
I mean, all the images are fantastic, and to me, you know, they kind of blur together in a sense, and it's really cohesive.
Oh, thanks.
Just trying to remember the specific one, but it was the one that you wasn't sure you want to use it as the composite. Anyway, I'll
Right,
shut
yeah. Well, thanks. I never know if I'm cohesive or if I'm all over the place. It's hard to.
That's my problem.
Well, both of you as photographers, you have, your unique personality as the anchor, and um, and you may direct your vision all over the place, but Xan, I really feel, a strong tension holding it together, just from my point of view.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was actually, I went to portfolio review and they were like, you have to bring yourself into the story, because it informs your work. And so I've been trying to do that more, just let people know like the background of how kind of I tie into the art. And it's interesting because it's kind of like I'm selling, me too. Like it's, which I mean, all artists do on some level, but they don't necessarily tie it together like that and say,
Mhm.
I'm doing this because of this going on in my life. And it's kind of so apparent in my artwork that some of the advice I got was like, you have to do it. You have to like bring yourself in. So it's kind of scary, but it's kind of fun. And I'm a risk taker. So I'll do it, try to get better at it.
I'm reading a biography of the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, and he speaks to that early on, which is his ambition, even as a preteen, was to be a Welsh poet. He admired these other bards and from Wales and these traditional Welsh poets, and so he had this idea in his mind. He didn't think of it as he was already Welsh. He was already a poet, but he wanted to be that Welsh poet. He wanted to be that identity, and he just dragged it forward through his whole life, his whole career.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Being a Welsh poet.
Not being a Welsh poet, but
Okay.
although I guess I am part Welsh, and
Oh, really? Okay.
I have written poetry, so I guess I could be a Welsh
You're
poet.
basically Dylan Thomas. That's great.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Me and him, we're like this. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much. If no one has more questions or comments, doesn't look like it. Xan, thank you so much for this presentation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really enjoy it, and get well soon. Take care of yourself.
Second round of antibiotics started today.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang in there. Thank you everyone who came today. Great to have your participation. Check the website for the things that are coming up. And newsletters, another newsletter coming out in about a week and a half that has very important information. So keep your eyes out. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you again, Xan.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bravo.
Have a great evening. Good night, everybody.
Be creative, everyone.
Bye.